Hello everyone, welcome again to Great Lakes Sasquatch. Our Squatchtale today is entitled Huge Footprints in the Snow Near Bass Lake. I'm really excited to share this one with you. It's one of my personal favorites because there's just no explanation for it other than Bigfoot. Here's the true Sasquatch encounter story. It was wintertime in the Upper Peninsula, April 2nd, 2008. I was attempting to get back to my home in the woods of Marquette County, Michigan. I live near the town of Gwinn and Highway M35. We had had a very heavy, wet snowfall with blizzard-like conditions the night before, which prevented me from driving home that night. The following morning, around 11 a.m., it was very sunny and just above freezing. As I attempted to drive down my two-track road, my four-wheel drive SUV became stuck in the wet, deep snow. The snow came nearly to my knees, making walking difficult. As I turned up my road, I noticed footprints leading down my road, at which time I attempted to follow the tracks. Needless to say, I was amazed at how large these prints were and the distance between each print. The prints were approximately 15 inches long and 8 inches wide, with a stride of approximately 4 feet. These prints were pristine in nature and straight, covering 100 to 150 feet. Being a very skeptical person about Bigfoot, I have absolutely no idea what else to think. I am now rethinking my original doubt. This witness had another story to tell as well. Approximately 15 years before, the witness's son and his cousin frequently rowed their small boat across Bass Lake to the Sear Swamp area near the old Sear mine location. Both boys mentioned several times that there are trees in the vicinity of the Sear mine area, where they periodically adventured into, that had large branches broken off about 10 to 12 feet above the ground. According to the witness, the boys often wondered how so many large branches could have been broken off so high above the ground over such an extended period of time. In addition, both boys noted that the large branches were broken off during the summer and fall months when there was no snow and ice to cause the limb damage. It is also important to note that the environment around the sighting area is densely wooded with numerous small ponds, swamp areas, lakes, and creeks nearby. The area also contains numerous deer, ducks, geese, and small game. Blueberry patches are also present throughout the area. BFRO investigator Steve Nystrom followed up with the witness. Steve is an active member of the BFRO. He enjoys investigating reports of Sasquatch encounters and vocalizations throughout the Midwest. Mr. Nystrom is a senior analyst with the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. He has had a number of leadership, staff, and analyst positions throughout his career, which also includes deployments to Iraq in 2008 and 2010. He recently graduated from the U.S. Army's Command and General Staff College and is attending the U.S. Army's School of Advanced Military Studies. Steve submitted the following amazing investigation report to BFRO. I met with the witness at her cottage and we walked to the location where her vehicle had become stuck in the deep snow. Then we traced her steps back to her cottage on Bass Lake. Along the way, she pointed out the location of her neighbor's tracks heading toward their cottages along the road close to where her stuck vehicle had stopped. The witness then identified the distinct starting and stopping points of the large suspect tracks further up the road, and where they eventually veered off the road in a northerly direction into the swamp. The witness explained in detail how the tracks made by the suspected Sasquatch were considerably large, 15 inches long, 8 inches wide, and nearly in a straight line. Most importantly, the distance between the individual footprints was very large, at least 4 feet. Also, the indents for each of the individual suspected tracks were clean, and the snow around the footprints was not disturbed like those made by the witness and her neighbors. Deer, rabbits, and other game tend to leave marks in deep snow because they have to drag their feet. The witness and I also drove over to the Sear mine location, southwest of her cottage, to examine the area where her son and his friends years before had frequently noticed large broken off branches 10 to 12 feet high above the ground on several trees. The Sear mine location is in a densely wooded swamp area, teeming with wildlife, including deer, geese, and ducks. Finally, the witness is a registered nurse who has worked in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan for approximately 40 years. Therefore, she's used to dealing with various things in a logical, matter-of-fact way. In addition, her cottage has been in her family for generations, so she is very familiar with the wildlife that inhabits the local area. The footprints that she saw in the snow were not made by one of the more familiar forms of wildlife. Given the landscape and habitat where the prints were sighted, as well as their unique qualities, this tells me that they may have been made by a Sasquatch. Thanks for joining us today for Squatchtales on Great Lakes Sasquatch. Please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let me know what you think in the comments. Links to our social media accounts are in the description box below. If you have an encounter from the Great Lakes region you would like to share, please email me, greatlakessasquatch@gmail.com. And if you love Sasquatch stories just like me, please check out some of my favorite Bigfoot channels and friends and support them as well. Hiker Dave, N.E. Bigfoot, Dixie Cryptid, PacWest Bigfoot, Blue Ridge Bigfoot, Bigfoot Case Files, and Bigfoot and Beyond. I'll put links to these channels in the description box below. Thanks again so much for listening. Have a great day and happy squatching!